I was physically close enough to the aircraft as it came in that I could see through the windows of the airplane as it flew past. I certainly didn't see anything inside the plane, but I was close enough.
Army Captain Lincoln Liebner wasn't scheduled to work his Pentagon job until the night of September 11th. He was at home reading the newspaper when a friend called and told him an airplane had struck the World Trade Center. He turned on the television and saw the second airplane hit.
I called work and told them I was coming in and drove to the Pentagon. So I was standing right here, so that's not, it's about 100 yards. So I parked the truck and started running directly towards the building. And then right about when I needed to make a turn to go in the building, I heard an aircraft. I saw the aircraft come in very low, very fast. It was accelerating, and the wheels were up. I recognized what was happening. It wasn't any doubt in my mind what I was watching. I started running towards the building. There were some construction workers going the other way. People were saying, get away from the building, because I thought maybe people think of a secondary explosion or whatnot.
He was the first rescuer into the building through a door that had been blown off its hinges. The room he entered was very dark.
As you walked away from the door and whatever light was coming through the door from the outside, it's almost like stepping out of a spotlight on a stage into the darkness on either end. Could hear people inside moaning or asking for help. Immediately came upon a woman who had been very badly burned on her face and her hands. And I took her under her arm, which was probably the only place I felt I could touch her, walked back out the door, back outside. There was a police officer who had pulled his car up on the grass at this point, and I went back inside the building. As I said, it was very difficult to breathe, and called out for anyone who was there to come towards me. I would call out, and then people inside would call back, trying to use sound to locate an exit. The worst feeling was, again, just you couldn't touch people because the skin came off in your hands. Any way you would normally reach for someone, any way you would normally try to affect movement, you couldn't. I never pulled anyone in uniform out of the building. Every single person I saw that was either dead or badly wounded was a civilian worker. All but one or female. At some point, I don't know when, they told us to get away from the building. Either they thought about there was in fact a larger fire that I guess was burning above us that we couldn't see, or I'm not really sure why. And at that point, I needed to get out because I couldn't breathe anymore.
Captain Liebner was made to go to the hospital for treatment for cuts and burns. He returned to the Pentagon later, and along with the rest of his communications office, worked through the smoke and chaos of the next 24 hours and in the days since. He later learned that he had lost friends in the attack. He didn't return to this side of the Pentagon until nearly a month later. The morning of September 11th continues to play in his mind.
The seconds of the aircraft going into the building, this sort of kind of repeats itself on and on in my mind. I almost wish that there were film cameras like the World Trade Center present, just because I feel very much isolated. I feel like I'm the only one who saw this thing come in. I know there were other witnesses. I see that over and over again. I still hear people inside the building, and I have no idea how many people were able to make it out. According to one of the rescue workers that I've talked to since, that basically there was a 20-minute window or so in which to really effect a rescue, and essentially anyone who was not safe at that point was left to the flames.
Carolyn Weaver, VOA TV.